Welcome to the Entertainment Rants Podcast, your number one source for all things entertainment. Join host Marco Mazzola and his fellow ranters as they sound off on the latest movies, TV, and the world of entertainment. Now, here are your ranters for the hour, Marco, Mila, Larry, and Bruno.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Entertainment Rants Podcast. I am, as always, your host, Marco Mazzola, and we are brought to you by the Subculture Podcast Network. Find us online at bio.link /Subculture Pod Network. You can find amazing shows like Rebel Rock Radio, The Trekker's Delight, The Iconist Podcast, Portable Hole, and, of course, the Dork Wars Podcast. So, let's go around the room and say hello to our ranters. Hello, Mila!
Heyo.
Hello, Larry.
Hey.
Hey, Bruno.
We are going to science the shit out of this show.
I'm going to die up here.
I'm gonna die.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about The Martian from 2015, rated PG-13, about 2 hours and 24 minutes long, starring, of course, Matt Damon. So, we were just talking about this, and I just watched this for the first time last night, and I didn't realize it was 2015. We talked about this already.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was that old. For some reason, in my head, I thought maybe 19, 2019,
Yeah, but we lost 3 years over the pandemic.
I'm still feeling
It's a warp.
I knew this came out.
Time warp.
I don't know. Maybe I didn't even know this came out prior to the pandemic, but in my head, I feel like it did. But I thought more like 2019, 18, 19, 2015 seems a long time ago for this movie.
There's your 3 year. There's your 3 year loss.
That's right there. So it's a big gap, big Swiss cheese of memory there. Yeah. So we're talking Matt Damon, Jessica Chastain, Kristen Wiig, Kate Mara, Jeff Daniels,
Sebastian Stan,
Michael Pena.
Let's go.
Whatever his name, Sean Bean, which
Sean
I
Bean.
love the Sean Bean.
He didn't die.
Lord of the Rings
die.
reference.
I had a Lord of the Rings reference.
There's a Lord of the Rings reference written there.
That was really
Sebastian
good.
Stan. I mean, and a host of
It's a
others.
secret meeting.
When that part came out, I was like, "Oh, this is so fucking
And you
good."
have Mordo from is in there.
Yep. There's a whole bunch of Marvel people on
Yeah,
here.
there's a whole bunch. Well, yeah, Benedict Wong as well in there. Donald Glover. I mean, it was just it's a great cast.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was weird
it
to
was
see
packed.
Kristen Wiig not doing a comedic role.
Yeah.
She was super serious, and I was like, when is she going to crack a joke?
It took me a while to realize that it actually was her. Like, I knew it was her, but then I was like, "Oh, wait a minute. Wait, that's
her.
What? That's her.
She's
What?"
super serious right now.
Yeah.
And you're
So
like,
the cast of this is awesome.
Yeah.
Like, everybody that was in it, I fucking loved them all.
Yeah, I thought it was well done.
All
Very
the,
well cast.
all the Marvel characters that were in it.
Yeah.
Awesome. They're
was
all
really
they're all
good.
in there.
So basically, the synopsis of this movie is Matt Damon is a botanist, astronaut, and him and a team are up on Mars. Shit goes down. They got to leave Mars. He gets hit, and they think he's dead. So they leave him behind. They figure, oh, he's dead. We can't save him. Let's get the fuck off this rock.
It's not just that though either. It's their
ship is about to tip over.
The ship that's going to take them away. If it tilts too much, then none of them are going to get
Right,
out.
so they had to boot.
Like, we have to make that decision.
They had
Right.
to boot, right? Turns out he's not dead, and he has to spend his time, or his souls, as they call it, to figure out a way to contact NASA to let them know that he's still alive, and shit, come get me. And it's just all basically him and sciencing the shit out of everything of trying to figure out how to stay alive, because it's like a 4-year window between that and then when the next basically ship is going to get to Mars that can take people, essentially, because his crew are on their way home, and that's a long ass journey. It's like a year or something like that, like a full year to get back.
It was
to get
something
back
like
to Earth,
that.
something like that. So. Yeah,
It was crazy.
It was definitely crazy. So obviously everything ensues from there, and it's some amazing scenes, some great science. I'm sure a lot of it's pseudoscience, but like the botany stuff seemed pretty cool.
No, it was pretty good.
I mean, some of the
Science-wise.
stuff was like, okay, they're on Mars, and some
I
of
know
like
that
the
they actually worked
technology
with
seemed
NASA,
a little bit,
like to make a lot of this movie.
Yeah.
So like a lot of it is like, at the time it was like theoretically, if we were to go to Mars, this is
How we would
as
do it.
accurate as we can get it.
Right.
Even though some stuff I know is like blown out of proportion.
Yeah.
Like the storms. I know the windstorms.
The
those
windstorm
are
on
not that
Mars
extreme.
is not a thing. So like
Yeah.
the atmosphere on Mars
like a
is about
gust.
100 times less dense than it is on Earth. So 100-mile-an-hour wind
It's like a mile.
is about a mile. It's like you'd be blowing a paper bag around.
Yeah.
You know, you wouldn't be able to. You wouldn't be pushing a ship over. Like, so that whole scenario that put them in danger wouldn't be a thing. But you know, you have to suspend some things because you have to create some intensity. You know, why do they suddenly have to get off the planet? Like if I had to brainstorm, how do we have to emergency get them off the planet? Like I couldn't really think of a good reason, right?
Right.
So
The Mongolian death worm suddenly comes out of the ground.
Is that the one from Beetlejuice?
Maybe.
But there are a few things here and there, but they got most of the science right.
That was awesome.
Close by, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I dug this movie. I can't. It's hard to say. I wouldn't necessarily go to watch it again on my own. You know, if somebody said, "Hey, I want to go see," like my wife didn't really get to watch it with me because she's just like, it seems really depressing. But if somebody said, "Hey, I want to watch this movie," will you watch it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure, that was depressing.
She thought, well, just the premise. He's left there.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so
It
she
can be
didn't
depressing
watch it with me. She was listening to her podcast and doing some other stuff while I was watching it. I don't know if I would watch it again on my own. You know, again, it takes nothing away from the movie. I thought it was an amazing movie. But it is just that. It's him on the
Watch once and
planet.
you're happy.
I'm happy I watched it. I'm really happy I watched it, but like, it is depressing. It's a bit of a downer for 90% of the movie, and I'm like, I don't know if I could put myself through that again.
Well, I think the biggest question mark in the movie is, does he survive? And then, so he does.
Yeah.
So you're like, all right, there's no suspense now to watch it again.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. Going into it, and I didn't know whether I'm like, I seriously doubt they kill him off. But at the end of this movie,
I would've
like, I know
preferred
it
if
did
they
pretty
did.
well.
I liked it.
I would have preferred if they did kill him off because he had a fucking answer for everything. There was always an answer for everything. There was like,
yeah, but
hey,
most of those answers were actually good.
Yeah.
Like they were.
That's
Science, he
unfortunately
scienced the shit out of those
it
answers.
worked.
Yeah, most of the science was accurate.
maybe,
Did they really have a plutonium thing buried on Mars, or am I tripping?
That was that was another rover, I believe it was, right?
No, they dug
No, like a
plutonium.
plutonium?
They dug the plutonium thing. He even
Thing.
talks
It was
about
for the ship, wasn't it, or something? Like they needed it for something.
they needed
but-
it for something.
No,
but they
it's
wanted
because
to-
it's
cash.
so highly
I forget. It was
like.
right. They currently don't have a plutonium stash on Mars.
Okay, all right, cool.
But like I
That's
thought,
my-
I
Yeah,
thought,
no, they brought it-
I
they
thought
brought it
everything
with
he
it.
took,
He-
he scavenged.
They brought that plutonium with them.
He
in
said
that
they
tray.
buried it
And then they
immediately.
buried it, and then they stuck it because they didn't want anybody to trip over it. They wanted to know where it was, and now here I am driving it with it in the back seat because he needed the heat.
That's
'Cause
right.
He couldn't turn on the heat because it was killing his battery.
Because he had to double
Yeah.
his battery life, and
movie's-
in order to do that. No, but like see the way they did it. You didn't like that?
Hey, Debbie Downer over here.
Are you kidding me?
This movie.
No.
It's as accurate as it could
I know.
possibly
No, I'm
get.
not. I'm
and
not.
you're
I'm
like,
not. I'm not saying
"Those
that it wasn't.
bastards."
No, I'm not saying. So for me, this was Castaway.
Oh, it was totally Castaway.
Oh, it was
Castaway.
on
Well,
Mars.
you gotta have
It was-
every
so-
once in a while have
it was-
a stranded
But it was
movie.
different than
It was Castaway on Mars. Yeah, because on Castaway he was fucked. He
on
didn't.
Mars.
He had to like really. I felt for him. I felt for Tom Hanks' character throughout the whole movie. Another long ass movie that I will never watch again. But I felt for Tom Hanks' character because he was like, "Fuck, I have to create fire. How the fuck am I going
Have
to
to
create
create
fire?
something out of nothing."
I have to create something out
Whereas
of nothing."
Matt Damon had a
was like,
lot of
"Oh,
shit
hey, I
there
have to
with
create
him.
Yeah,
water.
but
This is how I'm
Well,
going to
it was
create
also on
water."
a different planet,
Everything.
so.
Yeah.
Everything was fucking. He sized the shit out of everything. So for me, it was like he was like, "Hey, here's the problem. Problem A. How do I solve problem A? Well, I have to make all these things that I conveniently have at my disposal. I'm gonna create it, and boom, we have water. Okay,
But
cool.
no,
Next problem.
No, he created water by burning the hydrogen and mixing it with the oxygen. Like he created the water.
He had
That's
all
a real
right. No,
but all of that.
Why we? I understand that. My thing is Tom Hanks.
I'm saying it wasn't. I'm not saying it wasn't coincidental that they happened to throw it into the movie. Like
No,
you
but he
couldn't-
had everything there though. He
Some
had
of the
everything.
stuff was.
It was-
I
Yeah, but he's also
understand what you're saying.
stranded
supposed to be
on
a-
a planet, and
was-
it's a NASA. How else would he have ended
Yeah.
up on Mars?
Right.
No,
He just
but I think
teleport there?
30-day facility.
What Larry's saying is like some of the stuff he was able to do, he had to go dig up old stuff that happened to be there, like the communicator, like shit. Things that he didn't even bring with him were already there for him to go scavenge and do on this desolate planet.
Fair.
Where Tom Hanks didn't
Fair.
have that. Everything, he had nothing.
Yeah, but
he had nothing.
This is a compare and contrast versus.
Oh, okay.
To some degree.
No, it's part of
It's Castaway on a red
The reason
planet.
why I'm bringing that up is why I felt more for Tom Hanks' character than I did for Matt Damon's character. If you're working on a car, you need a wrench. You don't have a wrench. There's no way you can get a fucking wrench, but you need the wrench to fix the car, right? You're fucked without that wrench.
No, you have to figure a different way. You have to figure out a different way. That's just.
So you have to
So
create
you
something.
might tear a piece off the car and use that as a wrench over here, or
Okay.
something like that. I'm saying.
So Matt Damon, didn't
Did
have
that.
to create.
He
No.
did
He
that,
didn't
like,
create
all the
something out of
time.
nothing. He didn't create something out of nothing. He had everything there to create this. It's, hey, I need the color purple, so I
are
need
you-
blue and red,
So
right?
you're saying you don't like that it was all available?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
like I
what
didn't feel
about-
bad for this character at all.
What about the fact that it was a 30-day facility? They were
Fuck
supposed
him.
to be
Easy. I could do that.
It was a 30-day
And then
facility that was set
so-
for 6 different people. There was not only one person. He explains that.
It was 30
Yeah,
days
yeah.
set for 60 days because
So
they doubled
their
it.
equipment. Now, if
for
you're going
6
to go,
people.
if you're
Now
going to
there's
go
only
to
one.
a different job site, I'm going to
Right, but that
new
still doesn't
analogy.
take you to 4 years.
You got to do some work with it. You bring your van that has a whole bunch of extra receptacles and switch whatever,
Yep.
and so then in case you need it, you got something, right?
Yep.
So that's essentially what you do when you're going to fucking Mars. It's a
Yep.
year travel.
Yep.
So they're going to go. They're going to bring like, what could we possibly run into here? This is all real. Like
I
this is what you
understand
do.
all that.
So all I'm saying, that's why he had all the shit that he probably
Yeah,
had.
and that's why I don't feel bad for the fucking guy being stranded up there. That's what the initial
at least
the
that
initial
wasn't-
concept.
So the heart is this.
I don't think you're
the
supposed
heart
to
of
feel
this
bad.
is you don't care.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck about this guy that's trapped up there. He's got everything at his disposal. He's got everything there for him.
Yeah, but he could die.
I mean, he could die,
So
absolutely.
in theory,
There were times where he could have
in
died.
theory,
Yeah.
if he wasn't as smart as he was, he would have died. If
Yeah.
he wasn't a botanist, he would have
Yeah.
died because he had to create food
Like,
and
if it
by
was
growing
like,
plants.
if one of the
and
other
the
ones-
chemist wouldn't have been able to do that. The pilot wouldn't have been able to do that. He was the one left behind.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, if it was one of the other ones, I'd feel more. I'd feel worse off.
And then they die.
and then they
Yeah,
would
it's
die. The
just-
movie would be a half hour.
Oh,
Like,
what?
no,
Oh, this
for
is so
me,
sad.
That,
for
that
me,
would be
watching-
like the ship takes off. He finds himself with a thing, and they just roll credits.
He goes, shit, and they go, ba-ba-da.
he pulls the thing out of his abdomen, and he's like, "Oh, Dad, I'm fucking dead." And then it just
And then
roll
it's him
credits.
bleeding out dead.
30
because he
souls
died.
later, he's just a corpse.
It's 5
The
minutes
end.
of just showing him
Oh no,
pass
where's the
off.
pilot? Oh!
yeah,
They
yeah.
killed him, he's dead.
Yeah, that's why I didn't like this
Just a
movie.
montage of souls 1, 2, and he's just
Yeah, just
Slowly
a rotting
decaying.
corpse.
Slowly, the radiation. I
decay.
don't think you're supposed to feel bad that he didn't have the shit. I think I think the movie was more about like, how do we solve all these fucking crazy problems? And then like watching him kind of do it. Like my criticism would have been, he was a botanist, so he knew how to grow food there. And he made the right choice. Like, if you're talking about a high calorie thing, like potatoes are perfect. And then NASA would do that. But like, he knew botany, and he also knew like all the technology. He knew all of the mechanical. He knew all
Yeah.
of the, right? So he knew
He knew everything. He fucking knew everything.
communications.
But what you can assume is that astronauts are incredibly well trained, and they're very likely cross-trained. I don't know the details of astronaut training, but I have to imagine if you're sending 6 people to Mars, they're all going to be semi-cross-trained, even though you've got your own niche of specialty, right?
Yeah.
So I could
You can imagine
suspend
somebody else who can
disbelief, but I
pilot
was
the
like,
ship
wow,
if something happens
this
to the
guy's
pilot.
essentially an electrical engineer, a botanist. He's a chemical engineer, which kind of goes with botany. But then he's, he knows
mechanic. He's a
technology.
hell of a
He's
mechanic.
a hell of a mechanic.
He knows fucking everything.
knows everything.
He knows everything. He was like, hey, I need the color purple. What do I need to get? What do I need to make purple? I need blue and red. Oh, wait, I have blue and red. Oh, okay. It's not like, hey, I have blue but no red. Now I got to create the red to mix with the blue. So it's like, it just, for me,
he
it was
did
like
that with the water.
everything.
He knew propulsion. He knew
every fucking thing that
Yeah, but
happened.
he did that, but he did do that with the water. He had no parts. He had some parts that he had to make out of nothing.
But he
And then
knew how to
then
make,
got-
though.
then
He was like,
then
wait,
grew
I have
his
to go get
potatoes
this, I
in
have
his
to go
own
get that.
shit,
And then he
which I
blew
thought was
himself
hysterical.
up. He blew himself up, and he's like, oh, wait a minute. Now I know why. Oh, I didn't
It's
calculate.
cool. It's because he was breathing the oxygen in the air and
Right.
it combusted. But to me, that.
But then don't forget, too, the
Not
other part
bad.
is not quickly, but within a short period of the movie, he ends up having contact with NASA. So they helped him a lot. They gave him a lot of information, especially once he got to the rover and he could type, not just the
Yeah,
the
that was like
not the
wait, that
sign
was like,
thing with the camera. When he was able to finally contact NASA through the rover, they were communicating with him. So if he had issues, they were the guys down, by Benedict Wong and those
Yeah,
guys.
like they were
giving him
reproducing his
information. Like, all
environment.
right, do this,
And they drilled out
do
the top of the ship, and they were doing
he's
that.
like, they told me just to cut a hole in the roof.
Yeah,
but they were
okay.
telling him what to do.
Wait. But that was all shit at the very fucking end. Before he
No,
That was like halfway through.
that was when he finally got contact with them.
Granted, the
through
movie was
typing.
2.5 hours fucking long.
Well, yeah.
That was an hour and a half into it. It felt
Yeah,
like the
I like
end
an
of a
hour and a
regular
half
movie.
into it. That's kind of like the tail. It was on.
Yeah.
It was like the third.
No, it was about an hour into it. He
third-
finally got contact contract
It was
with
a,
NASA.
okay, yeah, but
It was the
how do
end
you
of a
look at
normal
It was a
movie.
third
Larry
fucking
That was the
time.
end. That was the end. No,
Right,
that's
so
not what I'm
that's
talking
how he
about.
finds out.
But
So
that's not what I'm talking about. That's just him getting off the planet. That's the part of getting off the planet.
when he first makes
I'm
fucking.
talking about everything else. The water he does on his own. The potatoes he does all on his own. No help from
Let Larry
NASA.
finish. Let Larry finish.
He started the communication with them. He started that.
Yeah, he figured it out.
Yeah, he figured. He didn't have that. They didn't figure out to tell them. He figured all that out, and then they were like, "Oh my god, I know what he's trying to tell us." And then they like, "This guy's a fucking genius." My point is, back to the original statement was, if we have the two of them, we have Castaway and fucking the Martian. I feel really bad for the Castaway because the Castaway had literally fucking nothing. He was a UPS driver who was like, "Fuck,
FedEx,
how do I
yeah.
create fucking fire out of a rock and fucking twigs?" This
Maybe
guy's
he was
like,
a Boy Scout.
"Oh,
You don't know.
This
Yeah,
guy's
but,
like,
like,
oh,
we
I need to
brought
survive
this-
for the next 90 days. Let me do all the math
No,
in
it
the
was
fucking world. I
400.
know. Okay. We're going to be
No.
exact on the fucking numbers
No,
now.
what I'm trying to say is like you're comparing a movie that's completely unrelated. Like I understand where you're like it's kind of like Castaway, but the only scenario that is
That they
similar
both
is that they
trapped.
both got stranded.
Right, and
one
I
guy
feel
didn't know
more bad
shit
for
about
that
his
guy.
environment,
You have,
and the other guy was an
genius on
expert.
Earth.
You have a very smart
The other guy was an
astronaut versus,
expert.
This is why I don't feel
FedEx.
bad for the guy that has everything
guy.
at his disposal, and he's the fucking wicked smart guy. I'm like, okay, so now the only worst thing that could
I'm
possibly
worried
happen
about
is
Larry's, inner soul.
Yeah,
He's
fuck.
not worried about a guy getting trapped on Mars, whether he has shit or not. It's still a desolate planet. He's the only guy on this lifeless, barren planet,
his
500 million miles away from home.
his whole demeanor was,
Fuck
I'm the first
him.
guy that did this. I'm the first guy that did that. Like, he didn't even feel bad for
He
himself.
should have just
so
walked home.
Well, no, but he talked about that in the end. He's like, you can sit there and be
Right.
depressed, and give it, or you can just fucking
Yep.
get off your
Or
ass.
you just get up
and
off
go
your ass.
do something.
And I was like, yeah, that's,
and that's what he did.
and that's good, but I felt
He's
no.
like, oh, this sucks. I gotta go deal with it. But he's an astronaut. You have to have the right stuff. So clearly he's been
Especially
trained. He's
for
been doing
Mars,
this for a
too.
while.
It's not like they're going to the moon.
It's not like he's just hovering around the
They're
Earth for a
going to
little while,
Mars.
zipping around the Earth for a little while. He's up in
I don't know the
Mars.
difference
It's
between
the
moon
fact
and
that
Mars.
it's-
I
Both
feel
fucking
like
planes I've
it's-
never been on.
I feel like it's way further away. It's more
It
like
is. To go to the moon, if
modernized
they need
as
to
well.
rescue off the moon, it's a lot easier than trying to rescue off of Mars, since it's a year journey, and they only had windows of when the next ship was going to Mars, and the next one was 4 years away.
Yeah.
And he didn't have enough food, even
Hell,
with
you could
potatoes,
drive to the moon.
last him 4 years.
Yeah,
Larry,
but they
I
cut
think-
all that time. I don't. Look, I'm just saying that when I watched this movie, there was not one time that I was like, wow, I feel really bad for this guy.
I felt bad for him the whole time. So I
Yeah.
watched it again.
I was like, poor guy.
I was, this
Stupid
sucks. I
situation.
feel like he's
Larry's-
figuring it out. That's awesome, but
To Larry's point, I didn't feel bad for him other than just the natural inclination. Like, hopefully he doesn't die, right? That
Yeah.
would be bad. But I felt, for me, it was more like, all right, he's got a series of problems in front of him. It's really going to be cool to watch him try to solve those problems.
Yeah.
I wasn't like, I don't think the intent of the movie was for people to be like, oh, this poor guy. I think it was a movie or a book. It was originally a book designed to say, these are all problems that legitimately could happen. And these are all some real solutions that really could have been done to solve, these things. And like they obviously threw every single fucking problem at him. Like everything
that's typical.
happened.
That's a movie.
Right.
Or a book.
Right.
So,
So, but-
it's when
but
things
to
start
Larry's
going right,
point-
you know shit's going to go wrong.
To Larry's point, you're not dealing
blows
with
the
a
hatch.
FedEx driver who doesn't know anything about the world he's in right now. You're dealing with it's a different scenario. They're both stranded, but one guy is an expert in the field, an expert in the environment. So it's a different kind. It's a different.
They're
comparison.
also experts in survival of those. Like they go through survival training
Yeah.
on if shit goes wrong.
That just
you need to
reinforces
know.
my point.
Yeah, but
still
so
be-
what your point is, don't feel bad for him, and that's fine.
You're not supposed
That's
to.
fine.
Feels a little
Well,
heartless, but
you
that's
can
okay. We
feel
still
a
love
little
him.
bad for him. I feel my takeaway from this was that it was a movie that wasn't about like this poor guy. I feel like it was like bringing everyone together to get this guy home. It wasn't about
Solving a
how
problem.
is this guy going to get home. It was how can we all work together to get this guy home. So it wasn't just him the whole time.
Yeah.
It was everyone involved in the
So
story.
let's talk about the decision that the crew made to turn the ship around.
Yeah, the slingshot around. They did the Star Trek maneuver.
Yeah, and
they
to
slingshot around the sun to go back in
extend
time.
their own journey by like 250 days.
It was like another year or something like that.
That was
yeah.
great.
I mean, that was good. Like,
I mean, that's
like
a massive
that.
sacrifice, right?
That was a huge
Yeah.
sacrifice.
For
Yeah,
one-
to do
Well,
that.
of course, because
For
they
one guy.
could die. They know they could die. Like it was very real, absolutely, that the things that they were going to try could kill them.
So
Just
then-
docking with the ship that gave them supplies, if they fucked that up, they could have died.
Yeah. So how do you justify saving one guy? Like, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, right? So,
but
you're talking about
that's why
saving
NASA
one
said
guy.
no. That NASA said no, you're not fucking doing this. So they basically mutinied, but because of their love for their their shipmate, their fellow astronaut. They're like, fuck it, we're gonna go do this. We feel guilty. We left them behind. We're gonna do it, and we're gonna take the risk. And we know where our strengths and our weaknesses are, and we feel like we can do this. The math worked out, so they knew it could work as long as they did everything correct. Like, fuck it, we're gonna go do this.
So you're okay with that sacrifice?
I can't say I would do it, but I think I also am not an astronaut. And I don't think I have the right stuff to be an astronaut. I think it takes a different level. You know what I mean? Of camaraderie and friendship and that like a Navy SEAL would do. I mean, like the amazing training that they go through, in which in most military you will sacrifice your life to save your platoon, somebody your work. It doesn't matter. You will jump on the grenade, and that's basically what they were doing, was jumping on the grenade, saying we're gonna save him because we left him behind, and that's not okay just to leave him there because we know if we do, he's going to die. So basically, that's what you're doing. Is if they left, they're sentencing him to death. There was just no way out of it. Like all the other stuff that they tried to do failed, so they needed to do what they needed to do to try to save him. Otherwise, they knew he was going to die.
Maybe he should stop being such a whiner and just
fucking do it.
Just man up.
Drink your pee and do what you gotta do.
Build your fucking spaceship and get yourself off that planet.
Yeah, right?
Dig up your plutonium.
There's going to be at least 3 or 4 missions worth of shit left up there.
Start going.
Do it yourself, or you get yourself going.
He knew enough to go to like that other old location that wasn't even fucking on the map.
Yeah, but everybody
there's no.
I'm not an astronaut, and I know about a bunch of the missions.
Personally, I feel like if you're going to Mars, I feel like you're going to go, well, what is there other than mountains and divots?
This wasn't like hundreds of years. This is like
it was like 10, 20 years.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll probably put feet on Mars within 20 years.
Yeah, that's what they say.
That's what they said when this movie came out too.
That's what their plans are. Yeah. So, and hopefully that happens. Yeah. But I was just watching some today. Like, Mars is really the only possibly inhabitable planet other than ours in our solar system.
They've been looking at
nothing else
Venus
works.
a little bit.
It's true. Mercury's hotter than hell.
No, first of all, Mars is not habitable right now. And nowhere near habitable. Not even within 1,000 years.
No, it's
there's no environment.
There's nothing.
There's no atmosphere. It doesn't have a magnetosphere. There's nothing to protect you from the radiation.
Don't you just have to put the hand on the fucking little thing, and
that's all you're gonna do, and then it goes
down. Have you tried just taking it?
And it makes the
and
atmosphere.
The pipes and the atmosphere. That's all you gotta do.
Picking it up and just going
Mars.
Get your ass to Mars.
Just warm it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Start the reactor.
Yeah.
Free Mars.
Nuke it or something. I don't know.
I mean, there's no way. But if we're gonna land on Mars, which I think they're gonna try to do, I'm sure they're gonna come back. We won't be able to, have a habitat on Mars for many, 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 many decades, is my guess.
I hear that they're trying to put sponges in the atmosphere of Venus to suck up all the bad atmosphere, and I was like,
we gotta do that in this room.
You have fun with that.
We have to do that in this room, fucking Larry.
Yeah. I'm like, all right.
Sponges over here.
Yeah, they're like,
on this side of the room.
Honestly, this is so not a movie for me.
This is not your movie.
This is definitely not my movie. The guy gets fucking hit in the face with a rock. Of course he had duct tape on him. Fucking of course he had duct tape on to seal up his fucking helmet. Yeah. Why wouldn't he?
Wasn't that part of the suit every time he went out?
I feel like
don't know.
Was always
it?
part of the suit. Yeah.
So
because you can get
dude, the guy's fucking MacGyver.
But you're prepared. That's NASA. You're just prepared.
I'm not a fucking astronaut, so when I see shit, I'm like, you brought a backpack with everything.
I'm not saying I know a whole lot about it, but from things that I do know is their redundancies have redundancies.
I mean, the biggest danger you can have to your suit is a hole in it, and so you've got to.
The second that happens, you have to be able to patch it.
You're lucky if you have mere seconds to fix it.
Patch it up.
And you're lucky if you have mere seconds to do it. Especially in an atmosphere like Mars, where you're basically going to kill you.
Well,
and hopefully it's not like a
critical, but he managed to make it back to the fucking ship, so I guess it wasn't that critical. I don't know.
I mean, it's a movie.
You have to reach a little bit of suspend disbelief.
See, okay, so why is it when I find a problem with something, it's you got to suspend the belief, but when it's the other way, it's like, no, but that's how it really is. Oh, all right. So how come...
No, we're not saying that, man. All we're saying is
162 episodes. You're finally catching on.
For me, this movie was too much fucking on the spot. Like, this guy had everything that he possibly could fucking ever want, and it was just like,
Larry needs a hug.
Why can't I have the suspense of belief? For like, wow, why can't I see a little bit more fucking? Oh shit, what's his name? Fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger went out into Mars, almost fucking died. There was more dramatic when him choking the fuck out. Eyeballs popping out. Matt Damon was like, shit, duct tape. Done. I'm like, fucking really? You saw that. It's just this whole fucking movie for me. It was just like...
This is where I wish we had the video version.
It was just... he had an answer for everything. It was like, oh, hey,
Larry,
I know what the
you do
next shot's going
recognize
to
that
be.
that's how NASA prepares for space missions, right?
I assume.
Like, that's real.
All right.
They have an answer for just about everything they can
Yeah.
possibly
Because when you're
encounter.
stuck in space, no one can hear you scream. So you
That's
They
right.
always go to go, you know what? We'll wing it.
gotta
See what
have
happens.
you gotta have shit.
Something comes your way.
But
figure it
this
out.
is a movie, though, right?
Yeah,
this is a
part
movie,
of
not a
the
documentary,
symbol.
right?
This was a movie that was actually quite scientifically accurate.
Yeah.
Not all of it, but
That's-
like they got a lot of the big things right. And one of the big things that they learned from, the Apollo 11 mission when the spacecraft that failed.
Yeah, I have
the
no fucking
scrubbers.
clue. What was that, the one with the
No, that
teacher
was a
died?
Challenger.
That was a challenge.
Oh, the Challenger.
Challenger
exploded.
blew up.
Challenger
Yeah.
There was a
I
one.
know that
I
one.
think it was either Apollo 11 or 13. Where I might have been
13.
11.
That was one with Tom Hanks.
With
and
Tom
everybody.
Hanks, Apollo 13.
Oh,
Where
yes.
their oxygen scrubber, in other words, they lost the ability to clean their oxygen, so they would not have enough oxygen to get back to Earth. And so this was a real
That's
thing that
when
really
Houston, we have a
happened.
problem.
And that's where the phrase "Houston, we have a problem" comes from. Like they call back and they're like, "Houston, we have a problem," and they were like, "Fuck!" And so Houston got a whole bunch of shit. They said, "All right, what do we have in the Apollo 13 capsule?" And they had the people put it all together. They put a fucking pile there, and they said, "All right, you guys got to build a new fucking oxygen scrubber from this shit." And they did it, and then they radioed up to the crew, and they were like, "Here's how you're going to build a new scrubber."
Yeah.
And they survived.
I mean, you're
So,
talking about some of the
those-
smartest people on the planet. Not just the astronauts, but the people behind them at NASA.
For
So they're
sure.
figuring
Yeah.
out- Cletus ain't going
You
up
hear
to
NASA and you
So
go, oh,
lessons
yeah.
learned. So just to finish my point, lessons learned from things like that. They're like, all right, if we're going to send with them now a whole bunch of extra shit that we think would come in handy, like duct tape and nuts and bolts and a screw gun or whatever it is, so that when shit goes sideways, because we know it will, their lives aren't thrown away. They have a chance at possibly survival. Now, could he have lasted 400 fucking days? Probably unlikely. But like, it's a movie, so you can suspend disbelief in that. Did he solve every problem? Would he have died probably in the
14 times.
oxygen explosion that just burned him in the movie? Yeah, he probably
And
would
the
have
second
died.
time when he blew the hatch.
He probably would have died in one of those, right?
Yeah.
But he didn't because that's movie life. But like, to be surprised that he had a bunch of things available, that's super real. Like that's a thing that NASA.
I don't know. I'm not an astronaut. I don't go to fucking NASA. I watch movies to be entertained, not to get a science project or
You got a science lesson.
like to
All
get a
right.
science lesson. That's what I felt like this
Were
whole
you not
movie was.
entertained?
No, I wasn't.
Okay, well there it is.
No.
Not going to be a high
Do you
score
want,
from
do you want a
Larry.
No.
cookie? Do you need a cookie?
Do you
Do you need a Karate Man cookie?
They are delightful. Let me tell you, they
This-
are so good. So, all right, so we got Larry's take.
All right.
Mila, what was your take?
Oh, me? Oh, well, I thought it was really cool.
And that's all for Mila. Bernard.
No, I have a funny history with this movie. Again, it came out in 2015. I was in middle school, and I don't know why.
I know.
Yeah, right?
I know.
Isn't that crazy? I was like 13 or 14
Graduated high
when it
school in
came out.
94.
Can you believe it? Can you believe
off.
that I'm a child?
Yeah.
Anyway, back
Happy
then.
birthday to me, by the way.
no.
Mila,
Oh, yeah.
Mila,
Happy
Mila,
birthday!
We're
No,
crying.
today's not
That's
your
why.
birthday.
We're not.
Not when this comes
No,
out.
I know.
Not when this comes out, when we're recording it is.
Because you guys are old, it's okay.
Well,
I
fuck
figured-
it.
Yeah,
Hey!
we're old.
Yeah,
True.
It's true. It's true. I'm sorry,
It's
but
a blessing to get old. That's
I can't
all I'm
believe I got a
saying.
record
Yeah.
podcast on my
Leave it at
birthday.
Anywho, but
I didn't make the choice.
I had to work on my birthday. I gotta go home and do fucking laundry on my birthday.
blah blah.
Can't believe I gotta go home and pay for sex on my birthday. What? No, anyway, so
Welcome to parenthood.
I pay for it every damn day.
Oh, that was good.
One way or another, you're paying for it.
Oh, and a funny story, not to interrupt. This is
No, you're good.
I have to
It's
say
too
this. The other night, it was two nights ago. Amy and I are in
Never
bed.
bought it before.
Amy and I are in bed, right?
Who paid?
She was just sitting there, and I don't know what she was doing. She was just annoying the hell out of me. I love her, but that's what happens, right? You're gonna have those times where you're two different people, and shit the other person does. I'm sure I annoy her at least 7 out of the 8 days of the week. I annoy the shit out of her. So she was just annoying the crap out of me, and she knew. So she was annoyed that I was annoyed. So we're in bed, and she's on her phone. We talked about this earlier, and she's just going to town on her phone.
She's
I'm
like, are you done yet?
no, I was quiet. I was in bed just watching TV. And
She's on her phone, just waiting.
You finish up quietly, will you? No.
Go in the corner
it's
and finish
worse.
up, would you?
It's worse than that. It's worse than that. I go, what are you?
So checked out.
I go, what are you doing over there? She's like, I'm filling out my eHarmony profile. Shut up.
You already-
Oh, that's fucking hilarious.
I cracked up. Now, my wife is funny, but she's usually not that quick with the comebacks, like that sharp. She was fucking on fire. I must have really pissed her off. She was on fire without missing a beat. I feel on my eHarmony profile. Shut up.
Nice.
That was perfect.
That's
Oh my
good
God,
timing.
it was great.
Kudos. Well done, Amy.
Yeah, well done.
If you're listening,
Yeah, well done, well timed.
full marks.
Yeah. Amy gets points.
Definitely. Bruno, what about you?
I
were you done?
what
Sorry,
did
Mila, were you
you
done?
I was saying.
Mila, why don't you
That's
finish
okay.
on
I'm
up?
going to yield
It
my time.
happens.
Mila, finish on up.
I'm going to
Finish
yield
on
my
up.
time to Mila. Go ahead.
Mila, finish
Here,
up quietly.
I'll try to keep it brief. Sorry.
Not a chance. Finish up quietly.
All right. So again, it was 2015, and around this time, every single teacher who was a science teacher was obsessed with this movie. Like I watched it in assemblies twice.
Wow.
And then I also had in my class or something, they were like, guys, you'll never believe what movie we're watching. And I'm like, God, it's a mystery. What could it be? The Martian. I'm like, wow.
Do you know
I hope I get to fill out another worksheet about it.
Do you know what space thing I watched when we were in assembly when
What?
I was 12, 13? The Challenger exploding.
Yeah.
I watched that.
No, I did. I have watched that.
Fuck.
I remember
We do watch
fourth
that
grade.
in
my
class
teacher
still.
turned the TV on,
Yeah.
and we're all like, wow, that's amazing. And then it
my
fucking
gosh.
exploded.
Yeah,
And my
fucking
teacher's
horrible.
jaw fucking hit the ground.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
And she's like,
Oops.
well, click, turn it off. We're going to go and start our reading.
See the
you know?
counselor.
Oh my God.
We're going to go one by one and see the counselor.
Well, there's that.
You are now
Anywho.
fucking traumatized.
That was fucking
That was fucked up.
That's
I remember watching that
insane.
at the time. I was living in New York at the time, and same thing. Every classroom had they had brought TVs in. I think maybe all the fourth graders were in one room, all the fifth graders we're all in our own rooms, but collectively, and we all had our TV, and it was the same idea. It happened. It was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Hey,
did
is that
really just
supposed to
happen?
happen?
No, that would
really-
be incorrect. That is incorrect. Click.
Is that really happening, or is this just like a
Whoopsie.
preview? This an old? We were like, what?
Oh, I turned on a silly preview for a movie. Click.
Didn't really know it was real until I went home, and I'm
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
What the hell? I was like, yeah, we watched
did I
my
just witness?
stepmother at the time was like, wait, you guys saw that? We were like, yeah, we all. She was like, oh, that's actually almost as bad as when I saw the 9/11.
Yeah.
I was watching the TV when the second plane hit.
Yeah,
I
we
thought
were
it
too.
was a
Shit.
recap.
We were
I was
too.
on the phone with my aunt. She was like, did you see what happened? I was like, yeah, I'm watching it now. Oh wow, they hit the second one too. She's like, what do you mean?
Yeah, what are you fucking talking
I'm like,
about?
oh yeah, they hit the second. She was like, what?
No.
She goes, no, they did. I go, I just watched it. And it was like, oh my God, we just saw that happen.
Yeah, watching
Like,
it
what the fuck?
happen is
That's
surreal.
insane.
Yeah, we did too.
So those
I
are
was
the two
working- I
times
was
that
working
made me
at
go,
Cambridge Soundworks.
whoa.
I was working at Cambridge Soundworks at the time, and they had the boardroom caught wind of the first one getting hit, so we were just raced downstairs to watch the news, and then pow, the second almost right after I walked in the room, the second one got hit.
So
That's
on to more
insane.
cheery topics.
Yeah,
about
right,
the Challenger exploding.
And the guy
God,
being
guys.
left on the planet who nobody cares about.
Lighten up. Let's talk about the
Everybody
Challenger
cared about
exploding.
I mean,
Yeah, let's
You.
talk about the Challenger.
Not you heartless
That's like
bastard.
my favorite quote from Armageddon and super amazing was we're sitting on 4 million pounds of fuel, one nuclear weapon, and a thing that has 270,000 moving parts, built by the lowest bidder.
That's right.
That's exactly why the
Yeah.
Challenger went down.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
I liked Armageddon.
It was really good.
That was a good one. Because
I mean,
to
it
me,
was
that made-
terrible, but it was great.
Yeah, right. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you, man.
oh yeah.
So,
Super
Mila, I'm sorry to keep
realistic,
cutting
though.
you off.
No, it's okay.
Super realistic,
It
though.
happens. It's all
All right, so Mila, so you saw this movie a
Yeah.
million times.
Yeah, and then that every teacher I had would be like, this is me for real. So we're watching this. They just owned it. I had a couple of teachers that were like, guys, have you seen this movie? I'm literally him. Same with I had
And
this
you watch
one.
all this shit happen, you go,
Like,
nah,
no.
you're not.
Yeah, I'm like, no.
That's why you're teaching middle school.
No, that was also.
You're not smart like that.
No, genius astronaut. No,
I had.
no, you teach middle school.
No,
I don't
no.
think so.
You grade my paper. No, it's also I had a chem teacher in high school
is me.
who was like,
air.
have you guys seen Breaking Bad? I could be him, and you've got no idea. And I'm like, yeah, I do. I really do.
How about we don't talk about that right now, there, teacher, hey?
He's like,
Let's not talk about the fact that you know how to cook up meth.
he's like, guys, it's
Mass
real
murdering meth
chemistry.
cook,
I know
right?
that because I'm him. And I'm like,
my God.
that's awesome, bud. Good for you.
That's a weird flex.
Keep on
Such a
drinking.
weird flex. Look at you being hip, Bruno.
Hey.
Hey,
What
using
are
the
the kids saying?
lingo.
No cap?
No cap. I got that. No, they say other words too that I just learned, and I'm still not sure what it is. What was the word?
Zesty.
Riz.
Zesty.
I'm still convinced.
Yeah,
that
what's
I
the
know
other
what it
thing?
means.
Riz.
It's just a shortness
Oh, it's just
of
charisma. Yeah.
She's got
Is
Riz.
that what that is?
That's all it is. Like, oh,
my
man, you got
fucking God.
mad
Riz.
Riz.
Yeah, charisma.
It's just you've got mad charisma.
Jesus. Fuck
But who
me.
wants to say that whole word?
I know, saying the whole word, the
Saves so much
actual
time.
word.
Yeah.
You save so much time when you say it.
They're all
and
about
then
It's
the
have to
just a
say
shortened word.
They're all
It's
about the
not.
abreves.
I was on.
It's not because it takes too long. It's
on the
just
work thread, there's like
what catches
They don't
on.
have time to talk.
Yeah, on the work thread, there's like 30 of us all here. You know, if we need
I
something on
challenge
this
you to
floor,
say it
whatever.
takes double the time because then you have to explain to people what the fuck
Yeah.
you just said.
One of
You
the
just said
guys,
word, I
wicked
get it.
young, hip, whatever, he starts saying something. I went, I'm not gonna lie to you. I go, I'm definitely showing my age. I have no fucking idea what you're
I
talking
caught about
about.
half of that.
I was like, dude, I have no clue what you're saying.
I've never learned
And so-
Ebonics. I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
So he hits me back with, well, it's the kids nowadays, whatever. And I go, I'm sorry that my generation still speaks fucking English and not
Fluent
we don't
English.
speak in acronyms. My bad. We actually use whole words. And he was like, what's that even mean? I'm like, the fuck?
What do you mean?
What do you mean by that?
I think it explains it very clearly.
I think
what
I
I just
explained
said.
quite well.
You start talking jive
so
like an
funny.
airplane.
I can talk jive. I can talk that. I can talk about it. I'm okay with that. It's when they start
You
just
must- yeah,
the random
it's clear
words.
to figure it
You're
out.
saying Riz for charisma?
One of the
I'm surprised
people
you know
that-
what the fucking word charisma means.
One of the people that works for me is in their early 20s, and I asked her a question. She literally said IDK. And I was like,
oh my God.
Is it hard to say, not
I don't-
sure, I don't know, anything like that? Just that's too much? That's just, you gotta say
Yeah,
IDK instead of I don't know.
They speak in fucking acronyms now.
That's so crazy.
fuck?
I don't know anyone that speaks in acronyms. That's crazy.
no, she dropped-
I mean, I
OMG,
know all
IDK,
the,
JK. What the
JK.
fuck?
Nope. Try again.
I know all the like absolutely gibberish words that are coming out now. Now I do. But
I think it's funny that you're like right in that generation. You're
yeah,
like,
I
these
know.
guys-
I'm
these
fluent
guys
in
are
all
ridiculous.
of these. I'm fluent in
But she recognizes
gibberish.
Yeah.
She
But I
recognizes
can
the
also
sheer
recognize that it's
I'm fluent
really
in
dumb.
gibberish.
You recognize the sheer stupidity of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Which
My
is
lord.
good.
Yeah, but I
Which is
think
good.
every generation has some bullshit that they say when they're
Absolutely.
in their
Yeah,
teens
and
or their early
that's why I'm
20s.
kind of defending it. I'm like, look, everyone says stupid shit at some
Yeah.
generation.
Yeah, and I know for sure that our parents were like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We'd be like, "Oh, it's whatever." I don't even remember.
And we grew up down near the lake.
That shit's radical.
That is
Radical?
its own
What do you
language.
mean radical?
Yeah, it's its
Are
own
you
language
crazy?
of its
Are you
own.
crazy? You're radical.
Oh my god! And then it's like,
rad.
it's
Rad.
like, no, it's
Yeah.
rad, dude.
Rad. We're
Is it
rad,
so
right?
hard to
What
say the
else?
whole word?
I-
Radical.
Yeah, I know. Well, I think what it is too is like when we were growing
Kids
up,
are trying
I
to
think it depends
differentiate.
on where you kind of grow up
Yeah.
and the different slang and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
Kids are trying to differentiate. They don't want to be like their parents, and I get that. You know, they're changing things up. They're
your
being-
kids are fucked. I'm looking at the both of you.
Yeah, okay. So, Larry, what was your favorite part of the movie?
The end.
I'm just
No.
gaslighting. The end credits.
When the credits ran.
No.
at
So
fucking
here's the
go.
thing. Like I know that I shit on a lot of it. But there were parts that I felt from like when you could see like the physical toll that I was taking on him, like when he took off his shirt and you could see like all the bruise and I was like, fuck man, he looked like he lost 150 pounds.
Right.
In
Yeah.
the bit, I was
That I bumped up against because it seemed like he was pretty healthy, and then all of a sudden, like it was
He
just when
quickly went to that.
quickly
I-
went
so-
to
so I know, so I
emaciated.
put his-
Yeah.
But they
Fast
get because he was
forward.
cutting calories. Like,
Fast
he was
Yeah,
doing
was
the-
cutting
he was
calories.
eating the bare minimum.
Right, and
Yeah.
I was, and I was, they kept putting up the souls, and I kept writing that down, like, okay, what? Because they would put it like
Yeah.
at crucial parts, so I would write that down, and I would do the math. I'm like, all right, that's 2 months. That's 6. It's like 6.
Yeah.
I have it here going 6 months of just eating fucking potatoes.
Yeah.
Like fuck.
And
then
it
he talks
ratchets a
about-
little bit more than that because every Martian day is
Tipping one
40
of them in
minutes
Vicodin.
longer than an Earth day.
Oh, is that, okay. See, that I
And
didn't
that's
even know.
why they called them souls. So they were saying, so 40 minutes longer than an Earth day on Mars. So, you know, after like like 38, 40 hours, you're talking about you make up on a whole additional day on Earth than you would. And so it doesn't quite line up.
Okay.
So they were calling souls because they were just saying, all right, then we're going to call a day, and that means the Earth day, and we're going to call a soul
a Mars day.
Martian
Okay.
Yeah.
So like there was definitely parts in it that I was just like, fuck, like on parts like that, like I feel for the fucking guys. Like you could see like the physical
The
fucking
beard came
toll.
on, and then the hair got longer.
And so like I was
and it
watching like
just
the
seemed
souls and
really
stuff like
jumped
that.
pretty
and,
quickly,
Like,
yeah.
and it was like, okay, 54, and then it was like 109, and then it was like 200. I was like, holy. So that was another thing that rubbed up against me too, is dude, they threw so many fucking numbers. And I was like, bro, I feel like I have to be a mathematician to watch half this movie, because they were just throwing out so many different equations and this. And I'm like, fuck, can you save the guy or not?
Yeah.
So like, there's definitely parts in the movie that I felt like when they all sat there and when they decided that they were gonna fucking come on with Mutiny, she was like, hey, listen, I'm gonna put up to you, and right away Ramirez was like, I'm in. She was like, look, wait a minute, think about
Calm the
it.
fuck down,
Calm the fuck
easy
down.
pirate, easy cowboy.
Right. And she said, she's like, look, here it is, the realization of it. It's gonna be like another 300 and something days. She looks at Ramirez, was like, me and you, we're military, we're getting court-martialed when we come back, because the other ones were just scientists, right?
Right.
And she looks at him, she was like, we're military, we're getting court-martialed, like, you know that, right? Like, I want everybody to be 100% on board with it. So I'm watching that and I'm like, yeah.
But it didn't seem like they did, right?
Well, I
Because the
think at
pilot
the
was on the
end-
next. Pina was on the next mission.
He's like the engineer, but the rest of them weren't.
No, wait.
Ramirez went on the next mission, I think.
Yeah, he was the only one.
But wasn't he military?
Yeah, so
but
they
He would be court-martialed. He wouldn't be on the next
bad
mission.
optics.
Obviously.
It'd be bad optics. So they were like, no, we're not gonna.
Yeah, so that's
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
I mean.
It was like a world-
because it worked out.
Yeah.
Nobody got in trouble.
Right.
Trust me, if it went the other fucking way,
Yeah, that's the end of it.
Shit's going sideways.
Oh, yeah.
Because what's his name? Richard Bean's character, he still had a job. Because remember, what's his name said to him? He was like,
Yeah,
hey,
when this is
listen,
over, you're gone?
Yeah, he was like,
yeah.
I expect your resignation when this is all
When
over.
this is- when the dust settles,
he's the
you're
he's the
gonna
one who
get-
sent the slingshot plane to them, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
So he knew, but he was like, it's all, I've got to fucking, this has got to be on my head. I'm gonna have to take it, but I expect your resignation.
Yeah.
So if the shit went sideways, everybody
Everybody would have been.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But it
They're
didn't,
cleaning
right?
house at NASA, yeah.
Yeah, so that's why, so like that part I really like. That was like a big emotional thing, right?
Yeah.
When the
It's a
fucking
big decision, yeah.
yeah, so like I felt that.
Yeah.
When he's fucking
I
going
love
up.
the whole Elron talk when they're talking to Sean Bean.
That's Sean Bean.
It's so meta.
I have that, and when they said again, I was
a
like,
cool
"This is
callback.
fucking awesome." You're
Yeah.
talking about Lord of the Rings. There's fucking Sean Bean right there. He's
And
a
then
part
they're
of
like,
it.
why Elron? He's like, because it's a secret meeting.
Yeah, it's like, this is fun. So like that was really
Yeah.
funny.
You were there.
Yeah. So those were like good parts. Like I liked them. Like
fun.
I felt bad when the fucking when what was it? Oh, when the little tunnel that you go from outside to inside the decontamination area, when that popped a hole and all of a sudden that fucking whole thing got blown off. There goes the rest of his crops, and it's like,
Right.
fuck.
They all froze over, yeah.
So it's like,
Now what?
Now what? So like, there was definitely those parts that, like that had me there, right? But it took a long time for me. Like honestly, if it wasn't for this podcast, 45 minutes in, I'm out. Like I'm not watching.
It took
this
too
anymore.
long to, like,
it took
get
way
to the
too long
better
for me
parts
to
for you?
get. Because it's just me. Because this isn't my kind of movie.
Yeah.
Like the Apollo 13, great people. Never watched it.
Yeah.
It's not my thing. Like the science and movie.
Yeah.
It ain't my thing. It ain't my movie.
Yeah.
So that's why I never watched this. That's why when you said it, I was like, fuck it, I'll watch it. I mean, okay. But if it wasn't for this podcast, I never would.
Yeah.
And if I did watch it, I'd be out in 45 minutes.
Glad we're here to broaden your horizon.
Not a problem. Wait till you see my rating. Go.
Thank you.
So, but
Not that broad.
Yeah. No, but so I mean, favorite part. When I'm gonna call him Wong because that's what I know him as.
Yeah.
When Wong was like, so listen, we have to lose 500 milligrams, or whatever, of weight. They're like, well, how do you think? He goes,
Kilograms.
well, he's like, well, there's only one person, so we can get rid of all these fucking chairs. And I was like, okay, and we're not gonna need the top, so let's get rid of the fucking
Yeah,
top.
that
I'm
was,
like, oh my god, what
That's
is
one of the things where I was like, no.
It's like so.
Stripping
That
this.
seems a little
So he's
important.
like,
We're just gonna
Big
put a
chop
tent
shop.
over
I'm gonna
the
put a
top.
tent. I'm like, wait, time to fuck. Okay, so put a tent
Pause.
over everything. No.
No.
But but this guy can figure out how to fucking wrap everything up. I'm like, where's your duct tape now, bitch?
They're taking the thing by the chop shop.
But it was
Scraping off the VIN number.
Yeah, right?
You don't need that VIN number. Scrape that shit out. Let them
He was like, and then the best, he's like, so it's gonna be unmanned, so we're just gonna get rid of the controls. So they was like, wait. We want to be. How the fuck is he gonna go up there?
Remote control.
He was like, remote control. Oh, because that's gonna work. And like that whole part of going, this is so bad. This is so fucking bad.
He's just gonna be spinning off into space. There you go.
But it's crazy to think that that's the kind of shit you would have had to do in that situation. Like,
Get off a planet.
Yeah, to get off a planet, you got to hit escape velocity. They're lucky that it was Mars escape velocity and not Earth, so they had to hit 5.1 or 2 kilometers per second.
Yeah.
But what on Earth it was 11. It's 11.4 or 0.7, something like that.
See, this is right up your fucking alley.
No, but like at the end of the day, that number doesn't matter. You have to get going a certain amount of
speed. I got it. See, I got all that.
And every ounce of thing that you have on there is going to require energy to push.
Yeah.
So you got to clear everything off so that only
Put
the
a tarp
bare
over the top. Just
minimum.
go crazy.
But like when he was like, we're going to remove the fucking top of the capsule, I was like, well, he's going to die.
He's gonna die.
Well, it was nice following his story.
It was a lot of stories, though. It was just roll the credits.
And then when he gets up there, he's like, well, what if I just puncture a hole in my air suit? And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And he was like,
He's Iron Manning it.
He was like,
that was
I could basically
real.
just Iron Man. I was like, that actually made sense. Like in my head, that made fucking sense. I was like, oh, I see what he wants to do. I go, it's fucking wild, but I see what he wants to do. And then he does it. And in my head, I'm like, with all these Marvel characters in this show, sure, why not?
This will work.
This will work. You're gonna fucking shoehorn Iron Man with all the rest of the fucking Marvel characters in this movie.
Sure.
Let's go.
Why not?
That's the kind of shit you would do one time, and if it fails, you're
fucked.
you're done.
You're fucked.
Yeah, you're dead. One and done.
You're straight dead.
You go, I'm gonna Iron Man this shit, and everyone goes, you're gonna what?
Yeah.
Well,
The one
worst
thing-
case scenario, I die. So
The one thing I think that was the problem with that particular scene, and I'm getting super in the weeds, and none of this matters. All right, let me just preface it with that. But like, if you were to take into account the fact that they're trying to rendezvous with the ship coming around, like the timing on that has to be like pinpoint perfect. Otherwise, the ship would have had to do some maneuvering. So he did the maneuver, and so when something's so what brought this up was when they originally at the very beginning. Emergency took off from the planet because of the storm. Mm-hmm. Same scenario is happening. That ship was only going to get them into low Mars orbit, and then they had a mothership floating around the planet. In order to pick them up. When they were emergency leaving the planet, what they essentially assumed was, well, our mothership is going to be exactly where it needs to be in order to meet with us when we hit low Mars orbit. Otherwise, that mothership's going to have to navigate.
Yeah.
And it's got a propulsion of like 2 centimeters per second squared, which means it would take them it could take them like a week to merge with that ship. Like, just like,
Yeah, we don't know if that.
Sciencey and kind of bullshit.
So I'm glad that you said that because I was wondering the same thing. I was like, why doesn't he just fucking go to the ship where he knows it is? Because that ship is already there. For Ares 4, because they're Ares 6. So I was like, he knows where he's going. And that was part of the thing. Like, everybody knows where he's going. He knows where he's going. NASA knows. Everybody knows where he's going.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm fucking confused. Why doesn't he just get on the ship and fucking take off just like they did? And then it took me a while to realize, because that's just like a taxi stand cab. Like, it doesn't take him back. Right. That just meets up with the big fucking... With the big one. That's why he can't just... Because there's nothing there.
That's right.
He just kind of floats.
Now he'll just die orbiting.
He just does. Just get up there and orbit the planet for a few years until he finally fell back down to Mars and died.
Right. So
the end. Roll credit.
Roll credit.
I've got an idea.
There, right
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd be dead long before he hit back to Mars.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So what'd you think about the movie?
That was crap. No, I'm just kidding. I really enjoyed it. I am glad I watched it. And there was a lot of science to digest in it, which I didn't have a problem with. I haven't really watched one of those in a while. The stranded thing kind of that I'm not really a fan of that kind of movie. I don't know. Maybe it just hits into like childhood issues, I guess. I don't really know. We've talked about this before. My mother would just leave me in Filene. She'd just be three departments down. My brother and I are like,
me.
"Where the fuck? Oh yeah, I thought you were with me. I'm 5. You're supposed to be watching me."
How do I make fire?
How do I do this?
This is in the middle of the store.
I'm
like,
in
making
Filene
fire.
to the fat lady close. I'm trying to build fire. My brother's like, "Arr!" We've turned into you turned into
Trying to one of the
sandwiches.
bouncy balls.
I've been gone 3 minutes. You turned into you're peeing. You're establishing a pee corner. What the hell is happening here?
That's gonna poo corner.
What the hell is happening here?
Diary.
For 3 minutes.
Or
Minute number
just go
2.
to customer service and call for me. Just go to customer service and call for me. Oh yeah. Meanwhile, my brother was like, "What if we never find her again? What if she never comes back?" Just fucking gaslighting me. He was 2 years older and he knew exactly what he was doing.
He knew.
Crying my eyes
I mean, that's the thing. Like, he very well knew that your mother was just.
He knew he could
there.
gaslight
like,
me.
He's like this. He could see her. He's like, yeah, I don't know what she is doing. I think we're fucked. Yeah, dude, I have no idea.
Let's go away from her to customer service so I can let you up the whole way over there as you're crying your eyes out. Oh yeah. So like that kind of hits me because did not just happen once. Let me just preface that this did not just happen once to me when I was a kid. It happened a lot. It happened a lot. So I guess like those abandonment movies kind of like they hit me in a different way. So it's hard. Like I said, I'm glad I watched it, but I will not watch it again. But yeah, I thought Matt Damon did an amazing job. I enjoyed his character. There was some times, like Larry said, it was a bit of stretch to be like, okay, yep, he does know how to do everything and has everything and can make everything, which, all right, I can start getting that. And the one thing that drives me crazy with some movies, like, and I get it, I understand why they do this, so let's just preface that. You know, there's always something's going to fuck up and go wrong, right? He's got the potatoes, he's got that's going on, he's doing the shit, and the fucking hatch blows off. Like, you have to create that. Yeah. You have to create that sense of tension, and
I wish there was more of that, though.
like
just for me, I wish there was more of that. Something bad has to happen. I just felt like nothing bad happened until now. Yes, him getting stranded was the bad thing. All three of you looked at me like, dude,
stuck on a plane at 140 million miles away.
Yeah, no. I get that. That's the base. That's the first bad thing. But like everything after that, and that's what I'll say. Like at the beginning, it's like there was no like. He's like, hey. The fucking rover only goes 2 hours off this battery life. So what do I have to do? Oh, okay. ABC, go gadget, fucking arms.
I got double
the battery life. And it's like, fuck. Okay, well now I can't run the heat. Oh, wait a minute. I got that plateau. Okay, really? We're gonna MacGyver everything. So it's like everything was just kind of there. Like, and I understand what you're saying though, Bruno. Like when you pack for that shit, it's like when you go camping. Yeah. When you go on a regular fucking vacation. You're gone for 4 days. You bring 7 pairs of underwear because you never know what the fuck's gonna happen. Like I know that
certain places you go to, you gotta bring more. You never know what's gonna be
the
food or the water.
Food or the water. So like again, that's obviously super simplifying it, right? But yes, this is NASA. They and he says he's like, look, well we're supposed to be paid for 40 days. I'm just going to throw the number. 40 days. We packed for 60 for 6 people. Right. It's me by myself. So we take that, plus we ration it, and I'm going to have everything. It was just like everything was fucking like easily mapped out. I'm like, what the? Where's the struggle? I need some struggle. So when that thing blew up and it was like,
but I would argue that they made a good movie based on science and not emotion, right? If this movie was emotion, he'd have been like, oh my God, you're running around, like, what am I gonna do?
So that's like, all right, next point.
Here's the deal. He said, we have 60 days of food. Instead of 6 people, we got 1 people. I'm gonna ration it in half. Now, and he's like, all right, I'm gonna figure this problem out. Everything has a solution. Like, I teach my kids, like, look, did this not work out? There's another solution. What is it? Figure it out. You got to figure it out. You can't just be like, oh, I'm fucked. Like, all right, then you are fucked. You're not going to work on it. You're in trouble. So he was like, all right, I know math. I know this number. I know these
shit out of math.
I know this food. Right. And he figured it out. And so, like, but like, I can't even tell you how super prepped NASA always is.
Right.
And the heating, using the plutonium for heat is a thing they do. When they send Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 out, and those are sent in the 667, I think 67 or 66.
I don't know. I didn't watch those episodes of Star Trek.
1966, yeah. No, but they sent these 2 out.
Now, the moon?
These 2 ships are beyond our solar system, like they're way out there. And they keep them warm with a radioisotope. and they power it with a race. So like all of that, like they didn't even have to make that up. That's legitimately something they've done.
So I guess maybe that's what it is. It's like it's everything was just factual, and I was like, I get that, but I didn't want to watch a movie to have a fucking.
You want Mars Attacks, the aliens coming down.
Oh, well, not that either, because I didn't watch, what is it, Cowboys versus Aliens? That's fucking stupid. I was like,
Olivia Wilde, you can't go wrong.
You can't go wrong. So here's my thing that I bumped into, and you could probably talk me off the ledge on this one because I'm not it's not a hill I'm going to die on, but by the time we get towards the end, I mean, even halfway through this thing, he's still very cool, calm, and collected, and he's alone. The nonchalant of being completely stranded and alone, and some things are going wrong. Like, a lot of people in that kind of isolation fucking can't handle it. Even like some of the best people, you might be able to handle it for a little while, and then your brain starts playing fucking tricks on you. And you're hearing fucking noises, and you start having hallucinations, and especially when you're not interacting physically or talking to other people. Even though he was finally able to talk to them, like, you're in deep isolation, especially in that beginning portion before he was able to talk to NASA. Like, that seemed a little like, okay, I mean, I get he's an astronaut. He's gone through the training, like a Green Beret or something, like a Navy SEAL. They've gone through all that sort of high tension training because shit could happen. It just seemed a little. Even by the end, he was still like a little bit not out of his wits. You know what I mean? I'd be surprised if someone would get that far through and not just be acting like a complete fucking lunatic at that point.
There was a couple times, like when he was sitting in the rover, and I'm just trying to remember, he asked them something.
Remember, and this is obviously completely opposite. Remember Steve Buscemi in Armageddon? He's like riding, they like get off the nuclear warhead. He's like fucking going loony at this point. They had to duct tape him to the chair. Yeah, because your mind starts doing fucking crazy shit. That's what things I have it written here too. He was not a trained astronaut.
The nonchalantness.
Just make it up.
Yeah, he was nonchalant about it.
He was very nonchalant about everything, right? And there was like 1 or 2 times that he kind of like popped.
He felt like he looked like he was gonna crack a little bit.
And he was punching, like fuck. Okay, and I'm like.
Well, that's frustration.
I think you guys make good points, right? He's alone for a long time. But I think you have to remember a couple things. And we're sort of reading between the lines a little bit. But one, he's like an ultra-trained astronaut, right? So you're not talking about, they're not going to send somebody to Mars, where this is a 2 or 3 year mission.
Right.
Who isn't mentally stable. Right?
Sure.
They go through some serious vetting to make sure that these guys are at least
we saw spies
strong,
like us.
Fortitude, right? Right. 2, they start off with good stock, if you want to call it that, and then they train them, right? And they don't train them like you or I would go to fucking the weekend and we get trained for the weekend. They train them for years, months and years.
Yeah.
And so these guys, everything they do is, here's a problem. All right, what's the solution? How do I get to point A to point B? And so I like that they saw him punching the wall. I like that he's freaking out. And then he was like, all right, fine. What's the solution here? And he was like, okay. And he but like you didn't see a bunch of him punching the wall. And maybe more would have been a better picture to paint. But I feel like most of the time he was like, all right, this shit happened. How do I get to point B from here? All right, now this shit happened. How do I get to there? All right, fuck. I lost my food.
Survive.
Right. I think I wanted more movie than reality, and I feel like I got a lot more reality than movie. That's kind of how I felt.
Okay.
Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like everything they were saying, we're like, oh, well, in NASA they do this, and NASA they do that. And I'm like, all right, well, so I just watched a fucking documentary?
Right.
Is that what we just did? Did we just watch a documentary?
What's going to happen when we go to Mars and drop someone off?
You got NASA documentary.
Yeah, like I got PBS Channel 2 documentary. I was looking for Armageddon. You know what I'm saying? Like a happy medium. No, I don't want to.
And the only interesting part was when he was coming off the planet and there was a chance that shit was going to go.
Yeah, and I was like, oh fuck, here we go. Like there was a drama behind. So
I hear you, man.
It's just there was a lot about the whole movie that I'm like, fucked. Like, I'm not that smart. I'm not going to pick up on this NASA shit. And they threw that. And it was like, I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. I have no clue.
Yeah.
I got Childish Gambino running around, and I'm like, oh shit, Childish Gambino's in this movie. Oh, but he's wicked fucking smart. Like, okay.
What the fuck's going on right now?
What the fuck is happening? Like, there's nothing, not to say that he's not. I mean, Donald Glover's fucking a genius. Whatever, I don't know. He's awesome. But again, there was so much of this movie that was like fucking math and science, and I'm like, bro,
Give me some movie.
give me some fucking movie in all.
Give me some Hollywood here.
Yeah, so that's kind of what took me
less
out
reality,
of it.
more
You know?
science, Hollywood,
like, not
Hollywood
that
science.
not that I need fucking Cowboys versus Aliens or Independence Day, which again, Independence Day. Y'all gonna hate me. I fell asleep in that. Like,
No, I didn't think it was good either.
yeah. See, and I get people like you.
love
I
that
can't believe
I
like.
liked it. I had fun.
Yeah.
First one wasn't good. The second one wasn't good. But
I didn't even.
I didn't
I didn't watch
watch
the
the
second one.
I watched the second one because.
So I think that's
Not
what
as good, but I
for
like
me
the
that's what took me out of it a lot. I was just like I don't.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still stupid, but
I hear
it's
that.
still ridiculous.
You know, so
that
that's-
makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, it was just more fucking real than movie, and I
Yeah.
wanted a happy balance.
And it's a little bit boring, to be honest, right?
Yeah, and
All that
honestly,
math and science
if
can be
you're
boring.
not into it, and I feel like that's what this movie is. It's like if it's for the people that are into the science and the space and stuff like that.
Yeah.
For you, that's a great fucking movie. Again, I don't want to take anything away from it.
Yeah.
Just not for me.
Right. Hence why something like Armageddon was more fun because like them
There
going
was
up
very
there.
little science.
It was,
Yeah, it was like a
an adventure,
all
right?
movie.
And they're taking the rover, they're like jumping it across the
Yeah,
cabin.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
movie.
It's fucking
None of-
action adventure.
None of that happens like that, right?
Yeah, none
that was
of
funny.
that works like that, but it's fucking cool. You know what I mean?
But when I go to a movie though, like when I go to the movies, that's what I want. Like I tell people this all the time.
Yeah.
Like when people like go super dive, super overanalyze, I'm like, dude, I want to go to a movie to be entertained. Shut my fucking mind up for 2 to 2.5 hours and just
Yeah.
entertain me. We were talking about it.
Yeah.
I'm a simple creature, brother. Fucking entertain me, man.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to sit there and have a discussion fucking for 3 years about how real the science in this movie. It's a fucking movie.
Right.
But when it gets too much into that, then I'm like, all right, you've completely taken me out of it.
Yeah.
You know, so that's kind of how I felt with this, and that's just my take on
I
it.
get that.
You
I
know?
get that. Then
So-
I think that's an accurate representation of it.
Yeah, that makes sense. But all I have to say is,
Oh, we got that. So, we won't go you first because
Oh, thank
you
God.
clearly. No, you know what? I love it going to you
Oh,
first.
no, I should have said that.
how do we not go
puts
to
a good
Mila
stake
first
in
on
the
this?
sand.
I know,
No.
right?
What have I done?
Budget versus gross. Mila, give me that budget. Give me that budget.
All right, so they
This could
actually
be a
flew to
tricky one.
Mars.
This could be a tricky one.
This, I think, would be a tricky one.
So this was all filmed on Mars, right?
yeah.
Shot on
On
location.
Mars.
All right, all right.
location, yeah.
So that's
Shot on
about
location,
a couple
yeah.
$1 billion, I think.
100 billion right there.
Just to get up there, it was 100 billion.
Yeah, so that's my
Took a couple
guess. At least $1 billion.
At least $1 billion, because that's how long it takes to get up there. Is that the number
Leave
you're
him up
going
there.
with?
You had to leave him
Is
up
that the
there.
number you're going with? It's $1 billion?
No.
Yes, actually. No.
You had to leave him up there, Bear Grylls style.
Yeah, there you go.
Little selfie cams.
You mean with a full crew and lots of food?
That's
With
right.
lots of food, full crew. I'm doing this all by myself. Well, then who the fuck is filming you? Fucking
Well, I love the ones where they
He used
shoot
to
him.
represent that they wouldn't help, but
Yeah.
he was fully like camping with them at night, and which is too bad. Like I thought the Bear Grylls stuff was amazing.
Yeah.
Well,
So anyway,
Go ahead. Well, we're giving Mila time to think.
Oh.
Yeah, no, that's literally, we were kind of.
We're
Let's say
Vamping.
250 mil. Not Bill.
as a budget,
As a budget, 250.
seems high. That seems high.
seems high. Seems a little high.
Listen, it's a little bit of a. She was
Wait,
like
wait, wait. Let's
80,000.
give her another shot, because if you
Please.
think Ready Player One was 150, which was the reality of a budget.
Wait, it
and that
was the reality?
That was all.
Yeah,
in.
150
Oh,
was the-
shit.
yeah,
okay,
150
then,
was for
like,
real
I'd say,
player.
like,
And this one obviously had animation, like, you know,
Yeah, but
Right.
not nearly.
not nearly as much.
All right.
78 million.
All right.
Okay.
All right. That's pretty good. I was going to go 85.
Okay.
We're going 100.
Give that man a cigar. Give that man a Cupid doll.
There.
108 million.
Okay.
Damn.
Nice.
So I don't know why, but it was 108 million.
Well, you got
Was
to
the
pay the
budget.
actors. There's a lot of high-end
They were
actors.
big
There's
actors
Matt-
in there.
Even in 2015, Matt Damon was making a pretty good amount.
Yeah.
Jeff
I mean,
Daniels.
that's-
they're
and-
making some
And
good
there
bank.
was a bunch of animation in there with regards
Yeah.
to like the ships and
Yeah, they had obviously the ship,
end
the main
scene.
ship, things like that.
end
There's a
scene,
lot.
for
But
sure.
even these shots with like when he's on Mars, like a lot of it's gonna be green screen, things like that. So they'll find an area that looks like that, but
Somewhere
then they
like
have to
the Sahara
filter
or
it.
something like that.
Yeah, but they
She's
have to filter the
Arizona or
back and stuff
something.
like that to make it look like he's
Yeah.
on Mars. So I guarantee you a lot of it was green screen.
And they probably had a couple physics consultants. I mean,
Yeah,
in
you gotta pay.
reality, because like they got a lot of it right.
So that's what I'm saying. Like with all that math stuff,
Yeah,
like
they
it
definitely got
seemed
NASA
like
consultants
it
on
was
this one.
fucking right.
Yeah.
Like I don't know shit from Shinola,
Yeah.
but like when I'm listening, I'm like that all seems like legit. Like, that drawings to back it up. I'm like, oh, okay.
I can tell you, like, the slingshot stuff they did,
I feel like I've heard that theory before, like, in other shit, too. So that's why,
it's a common usage.
Yeah, that's why I've definitely never... Oh, wait, didn't we just watch that in fucking Buzz Lightyear?
The slingshot. Well, yeah, because he was going around.
Yeah.
It was a star. Was it a star? It was a star.
Yeah, to come back. We just saw. Well, not just, but
I'm like, that was months ago.
That was
a year. Over a year.
That was a long.
I know, but I'm saying like we have definitely talked about this. So that's why like I've seen that theory around before. So I was like, oh, that makes sense.
They got most of the
done that theory.
like the important physics they got right, and then they glossed over some stuff. Like the storm at the beginning wouldn't.
Right.
Like, but you need to have some Hollywood in there.
Right. That was the one. That was a little bit of Hollywood. So we got the budget at 108 million, right? What did it gross?
Mila.
I think it did pretty well. It got.
I'd say
it did fucking really.
I'd say $500,000.
Well, right?
How much?
I meant not $500,000. No, wait. Wait, I take it back.
$500,000?
No, $500 million.
So all right, let's put it in context. Ready Player One did 580 million.
I think
Do you think this one did better or worse?
I think it did way better. So I think it was like 500.
Or so 580, you'd be better would be something more than that.
500 mil.
580 million was Ready Player One.
Yeah.
Ready Player One was 580 mil, so you want to go higher than that. Do you think it did better than Ready Player One?
Well, I'm talking about like percentages. Like did it get? Yeah, all right, I see what you're talking about. I'm gonna say like
Took a while to get there, but
yeah, like let's say like a 680.
Okay.
That's a good guess.
Solid number.
I'm gonna say that it probably did roughly the same. I'm gonna go with
681.
550.
So you as well think that it did less than Ready Player?
I think it did less than Ready Player One.
Okay.
Wait, how much did Ready Player One?
Ready Player did 580. He's saying it did less than that.
Oh.
Well, he's wrong, so don't worry.
Yeah, I'm saying it's.
I'm gonna say 681.
Yeah, I'm saying it did way better than it.
681. You went 5 and some change.
Like I think it was like way better. So like
you said 680.
Yeah.
680, 650.
Okay.
Oh.
So it was 653, 609.
So Bruno's the closest without going over.
Yeah, this is true.
You're playing by Price is Right rules.
This is true. So yeah, so it did 6.5 over budget, which is fucking unbelievable. I mean, to
I know this movie did
break over $500 million and gross sales is well, gross.
I mean, but it had some big actors, and it had a storyline that in 2015 was really big already.
Yeah.
They were talking about, fielding astronauts who wanted to go to Mars, to be in the Mars program. Like, this was all forefront at the time, so people were all about it.
And I actually saw them trying to sell the books everywhere. So I was like, well, I think this did well. With Matt Damon's face on it, and they were like...
I mean,
those were selling.
Opening weekend, they did 54 mil. Like, that's a huge fucking number.
Yeah.
Opening weekend. Like,
it's interesting, because Player One was 49, so not much more than Player One.
Was that, no...
That's what
41.
You said. Oh, 41.
It's 41,
sorry.
yeah.
Misunderstood. So, all right. But still, it's great.
But yeah,
it's good.
It's still great numbers, though.
I mean, it was nominated Best Picture of the Year.
All right.
Best Performance by an Actor. Best Writing. Best Achievement Sound. I mean, they got a ton of Oscar nods. Didn't win anything, but it got a bunch of like nods.
I mean, that's important, too. The fact they're even nominated is... That's credit.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
Domestic was 228, international was 425, which makes perfect fucking
2 to
sense.
1. That's interesting.
It makes perfect sense because this is domestic, this is international.
Yeah, but it was about the U.S. space program. Well, although China
played a huge part of it.
Yeah. I think that's one of the reasons they made it be China, because they wanted to be huge in the Chinese market, which is just huge anyway.
Yeah.
Like a lot of what was the movie that they came out like a year or two ago that was snubbed in China because of something? The movie
Oppenheimer. No, that was Japan. That was this year.
What was it though?
No, I know.
You know what I'm talking about? They intentionally like didn't give China credit for something or something like that? No, they included a kiss. What movie was this? It was a kiss between two women, and they did it anyway, even though they knew China would not like it.
Wasn't it Lightyear?
What movie was it? Was it Lightyear?
It may have been
Lightyear.
Maybe it was Lightyear.
They cut Lightyear out of
Lightyear.
like U.S. theaters, like a lot of U.S. theaters. They cut
might
that
be the
scene
one.
at least.
Yeah, it
That
was
might be
that.
Lightyear, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, they put it in a little window so they could cut it out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a like they'll segregate just that little section, so then it's easy to cut out, so you can still sell the movie.
Yeah.
So, overall,
Rating?
rating?
I would give it a solid 4.25.
Nice. That's a great rating.
I know.
That's huge.
It's a good movie. I liked it. It's not like up in the higher quarters, but it's still a quarter. Like I liked it.
Anything fucking
anything
4
4
high
and
is like,
above.
whew.
You liked it.
Like
Oh,
that was
shit, yeah, you
I
did.
liked that movie. I liked it. I thought it was good. I thought it was really well made.
Yeah, I'll give it a 4. I like the story premise. I'm a big fan of them making it scientifically accurate. I thought that was kind of cool. Although you don't need to do it in order to make a good movie, obviously.
No.
I thought it was good.
Yeah, I'm at a 4 as well. I liked the story. I liked the acting from everybody. I thought everybody was on point. There weren't any characters. I'm like, I don't believe you. I think shit. Like, I don't think you're pulling your weight in this one. I thought everybody did a great job.
When Sean Bean's character didn't die, I was like, that's bullshit.
This bullshit.
Bad movie.
That's all happened here. I think they must have cut some scenes. There's a couple of editing room floor. He's dead.
They should have some guy run in from off screen and just stab him.
Stab him. A big sword. So just to keep it consistent. I like consistency.
What the fuck?
I like consistency. He's really bleeding. That wasn't in the script.
It's just on the cutting room floor, but it was there. It was filmed.
That wasn't in the script.
There's a little funeral
So I like the production. The sciencey stuff, the tech stuff. I thought there was a little too much of it. I thought at some point because like that first hour.
Was that a question?
Yeah, a little bit. That first hour or so, an hour and a quarter, it did get a little lengthy with like, oh my god, he's just figuring out a lot of shit. So there wasn't as much like, let's say, action. It was just a dude on Mars figuring out one problem to the next, figuring out how to grow potatoes, figuring out how to make batteries longer. Just some of the things kind of dragged on a little bit. I thought it'd bring, but it is Ridley Scott, so you kind of see that coming down the pike. So, but other than that, I really enjoyed this movie, and I would recommend people to see it at least once. If it's your thing, see it multiple times. But I think people should see it at least once. Larry,
It's a good flick.
Did you know that Sebastian Stan's name in this was Beck? Which is very close to Buck, which was short for Bucky. That was one of my little things that I thought was kind of funny.
All right. One last note he had to throw in there. I feel like
that
the
and
end's
like
coming.
just all the Marvel people that were in this movie.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of cool.
I didn't realize like any of them except for. It's funny when I saw Sebastian Stan. I didn't think, oh my God, it's Winter Soldier Bucky. I thought of a friend of mine is like obsessed with Sebastian Stan, period. So I was like, man, she'd like this movie. Yeah. He's in it. I didn't think it twice. I was like, oh yeah, I guess he is the Winter Soldier, isn't he?
Show enough.
So I'm gonna go with
embed.
I'm gonna go with
No pictures.
not a bad movie. Just not my movie. Okay. We're gonna start off with would I watch it again? Nope. And that is usually starts me off at a 3 if I would watch it again. So I'm gonna give this one a 2.75.
All right.
That's so
fair.
I just fucked up
wrong,
all
but
your
fair.
curve.
Very
I got
wrong.
some 4s.
The average 3 now. No.
Son of a bitch.
I fucked it all up for you.
Larry, bring down the curve.
I definitely did. And,
Fucking up the
What'd
curve.
you say, 2 3/4?
yeah.
Fucking up the curve.
I gotta say, after having seen it about 4 times, most of which I didn't really choose to, I'd be happy if I didn't see this movie again personally.
See?
I'm like, man, that was a really good movie. I'm full. I'm good. I am all set, bud.
Yeah.
I am okay.
Yeah. No, I feel the same. I've only seen it once.
3.75, right?
Yeah. So I'm so glad that you knew, like, I knew what you would do when you asked me. And I was like, let me do it real quick because I know he's about to ask me. Yeah.
That's still a good rating.
Fucking up the curve.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, fucked
Awesome.
up the curve for you. I'm sorry. My bad.
Well, thanks everybody. That was good. Good talk on The Martian. We've done 2 podcasts today, so we're we're beat. These will come out soon. We're looking forward to everybody writing in your comments. That you let us know what you thought of The Martian, the podcast. Write us online at Apple Podcasts. Drop us a note. Write us at engageentertainmentrants.com. Make sure you check out the other podcasts on the Subculture Podcast Network. Go to bio.link/Subculture Pod Network. I want to thank everybody for being here. Thank you, Larry.
Thank you. Hopefully you bring me back.
We'll see. Depends on what movie we're doing. Thanks, Mila.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bruno.
Houston, we have a problem.
we had a problem. We brought Larry on. Anyway, what are we going to go do, everybody?
Rant.
Science the shit out of this.
Science the shit out of this bitch.